chairs will be up here, so after the talk, you can come up and take another look at them. A few things I want to remind you of. We're having an open house tomorrow, 1 to 4.
Sunday.
The Historical Society.
Sunday.
I'm sorry, Sunday. It's been a short week. Sunday, 1 to 4, and at 3:30 on Sunday, we're going to pick the winner on all the chairs. There's apple pie there, there's apples, all kinds of good stuff, and we've got Mary Jane has done a remarkable job on setting up a lot of displays. I think you're all going to be real happy if you haven't been in there in the last few weeks.
Good guys.
Again, I want to remind you that bottles and cans, recycling, we're still doing that up at the airport. And we're still looking for people to help us out. About 4 hours a month that you can swing it. The dinner went well the other night. And I had the honor tonight of I've wanted to do this for a while, in public, to tell you about a wonderful thing that's happening to the Historical Society. The Russell Homestead is being given to the Historical Society by the Russell family. And if you don't know where this is, it's on Round Hill Road. Just in case you don't know what it looks like, this is a picture of it. I already said this is an old picture, but it's still the same. We hope to do a lot of things with this building. The house is old, a lot of contents in it, and we're going to be looking for people that want to help us out with this project. We have many barns. We hope to have animals there so that the school kids can come down and see what a cow looks like. Chickens. And you laugh. I was at Freiburg a week ago, and this woman was telling her child that the ones with the horns are the males. So I figure we need something like this for the kids. No, there's a lot of awful nice things down there, and I'd like to have Ernie and Mary stand up. Russell's, give them a hand. As I told Ernie, most people leave this world, and all they leave is a hunk of granite with their name on it. And the Russells are going to leave a lot more than that. Hopefully 100 years from now, people will be telling about all 12 kids were born in this room, and they did this and they did that, and a lot of people will learn a lot from that homestead. Here again, I've got a list out or a pad out in the foyer for volunteers. Anybody who would like to be a worker bee, help us out with this project. And there's many jobs. I've already had our vet say that she wants to help out with the animals, this kind of thing. So there's unlimited jobs from carpenters to shovelers. So worker bees, please sign up. Tonight, we have the honor of having Daryll Christiansen here, giving us a first time an illustrated PowerPoint talk. Technology's catching up with us, I think. But this should be very interesting, and probably caught your eye tonight when you came in out there. He's got one of the original cars from the barracks up here. That was 1945, 41 car, and that's kept up in Canaan. But I'll let Daryll tell you all that kind of stuff. So here's Daryll Christiansen.
Thanks a lot, Connie. Okay. All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think it has to be my first time ever addressing you guys here with the Historical Society. I see a lot of familiar faces, but there is quite a few here that I don't know, so I will introduce myself. My name is Daryll Christiansen, and I'm the resident trooper for the past 9 years in town here. I also have a partner, his name is Tony Bertella. I've been a state trooper for 15 years. My first tour of duty was up in North Canaan, where I spent a year. From there, that's because I lived in Waterbury. Usually they send you far away from where you live. So I had a nice long hour and 15-minute drive every day. That's typical. They used to do that back in, I've been on for 15 years. That's the way they used to do it back then. And then you rotated weekly, meaning you worked the days 7 to 3 for a week, then you worked the evenings the next week, 3 to 11, and you worked the following week, 11 to 7. So for a whole year you did that. So you really got a feel for the different shifts and the different things that go on. So working up in Canaan was definitely a good experience for me. Living in Waterbury, finally my GP transfer came through when I went to Troop A in Southbury. Troop A is primarily a highway troop. It has a few towns, but I went through, this was back in 1991, I went through the Lowell-Wicker layoff routine. There was 111 troopers laid off, and I was one of them. So that lasted a couple months. From there, upon being rehired, I went to Troop I in Bethany. And since 1991, I've been at Troop I, and for the past 9 years as a resident trooper. Several people were really instrumental in helping me this evening in putting this together. First off is Mr. Brinton, and Bob Brinton. I understand he's not here. He's out having a good time right now, I believe in Hawaii or something like that. But I'm told that he's always here, so I know he would be here if he could be, but I'd like to really thank him. Also, there's several other people. You're going to see, trying to do something that we did here. I have about 60 slides, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. But it's difficult because a lot of us, as we're going through our day, we don't take photos of what we're doing. Only here and there, and that was even more so back in the olden days. So it was really difficult trying to find some old, nice photographs to show everybody. I was, however, as you came in, able to get a 1941 former police car here. That was if you look at the front of the podium here, that's a cover that was drawn in 1945 from the Saturday Evening Post. And it's not the original car that you're seeing outside, but some of the articles that are in it, including the license plate, are from that original car that are on the one that's out there. It was even fun trying to drive that because some of it has a 3-speed on the column, and unless you know, and that was an experience just getting here. Pushing the button and driving, it was definitely something. All right, this picture here, if some of you are familiar, a lot of the media. Is that better? Yeah. Okay, much better. Back in the 80s, there was a big push for the DWI and things like that because accidents like that were happening a lot, so they put out, here's the Chasers. As you see, it looked very well on TV, and it was really instrumental with assisting us. Anybody recognize this building here?
Middletown.
Middletown, that's right. This is our state police headquarters up in Middletown. We call it the Puzzle Palace. There's many reasons why we call it that, but most of our senior management, everybody is there. The Bureau of Identification, most everything in the command structure is up there. in Middletown. It's right off of Country Club Road, 111 Country Club Road up in Middletown. Now what this shows you here is a breakdown of all of our 12 state police troops. The state is broken up into 3 districts, central, eastern, and western. And if you follow along there, it goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and they skip J, K, L, and then they have also one up in Troop W up at the airport. Now here it is. Here's Troop I. Troop I is located at 631 Avenue Road in Bethany. Is responsible for patrolling approximately 80 miles of limited access highway in the central portion of the state. The troop also serves 16 cities and towns. Of the 16, 13 have municipal police departments to which Troop I provides support services. The troop provides resident state troopers to the 3 towns in which it has primary police jurisdiction, and those 3 towns are Bethany, Prospect, and Beacon Falls. Troop I has 41 patrol troopers, 6 patrol sergeants, 1 resident trooper sergeant, and 4 resident troopers. Now, also in the barracks, there's a contingent of detectives that work in there. There's every district has a detective that's work out of the barracks, and each detective is assigned to the town also. All right. Troop operations are overseen right now by the troop commander, who is Lieutenant George Battle, with the assistance of the troop executive officer, who is Master Sergeant Clifford Thurmer. Administrative and clerical support is provided by a staff of dedicated civilian employees, including our troop mechanic, Bethany resident Glenn Rosen. The goal of all personnel of the Troop I is to deliver efficient public safety services to its communities through coordination and cooperative efforts in partnership with community leaders, the business community, and of course, you guys here. Okay. Okay, this is just this photo here you see hangs up in our barracks. If you take a close look, you'll see flags and things like that on the car, and of course it's a black and white. Most of our cruisers, looking back as I was doing this, everything was marked back then, and that's a great difference the way it is now. None of our cruisers are marked unless you see a white one. We have a white marked cruiser at the barracks, but everybody else, all the department vehicles we have are unmarked now. Now this is a 1950s photo from above, from a helicopter, taken of the troop. And if you look closely, you can see some of the cars right behind the building there. That's where the lieutenant still parks. So I'm sure that's probably the lieutenant of the barracks parked there. Right, State Police Training School, Bethany, circa 1942. All right, I never realized the history that's at the barracks here until I started putting this together. All right, the barracks and the building next to it have a big history with the state police. Wherein, as you're seeing right here, when things started to move along, our agency was founded in 1903, and as it started moving along, State Police Training School here was where it really started to take foundation. And we're great to say that Bethany had a big part of that, as all the classes up until 1969, 1970 were held here in Bethany. Some of the first state policewomen, that was actually a title to them. The first 4 who went through the academy went through in Bethany. So that's a history that Bethany has here. So this is a 1942 recruit class photo. Okay, maybe some of you might remember these days here. This is around 1965. 772 local policemen from 69 towns graduated from the academy in 1965. So there was a period of time that not only were they doing state police troopers here, they were doing municipal police officers were trained here also. up at the academy. And this is a picture here you can see the bus and all the recruits getting off here. Okay, this picture here is a picture I actually have, and I'll be displaying in the Historical Society on Sunday. This photo is the actual artist doing the poster that I have on the podium right here. All right, this is a photograph of him actually doing it at the time. As you'll see, we are lucky and fortunate to have that photo. To my recollection of what I've been told, the artist there, this gave him his big start. He was really famous after doing this. But this is from the Saturday Evening Post from 1945.
You have a flat tire?
Yep, it has a flat tire. And you can see a trooper looking out at it, and not a good day. That's happened to me working here, and I tell you, there's nothing worse than being a trooper and having a flat tire, because they all, we got to change it, and of course everybody's beeping, and of course nobody stops to help or anything, but it's happened to me twice. The worst one was on I-84. So. All right, and here's what the new cars look like. This was my first new car. It took me 12 years to get a new car finally. It's got the dual antennas. I had this car for 4 years. And it's state of the art. And we're going to show you some pictures here that show you exactly what it is. It just looks like ordinary on the outside until you start looking on the inside. And this is all state of the art. We're finally in the times now, and it took us a good, from when I've been on the job, about 13 years to get there. You'll see the laptop computer right there. If you look up above and right by the rearview mirror, there's a camera system. All right, that actually, when I turn on the overhead lights, it's recording everything that's going on out in front. I can also swing that around, and I also have inside in my pocket the voice too. So it records everything that I'm saying. So some of us, we had a hard time getting used to that, because everything you're saying is being recorded. All right, so you really have to be careful what you're saying. It's good and bad, because of course, when it's been used a lot of times to get us out of trouble, because people, of course, like to complain about us too, that we're not doing our job effectively, or we said something that they didn't want to hear, and then they make a complaint against us. And there's been a lot of times where the management, it's the first thing they look for. The first thing you have to explain, if you didn't have it on, why you didn't have it on. Why you didn't record what was going on. So it's another thing for us to do, but technology is a good thing. It's really a good thing for the police, I can tell you that. Our radio system, the radio is 21i DISP right there. It may not look like much, but that's like $3,500 worth of the radio right there. The rest of the stuff is the PA and the siren and things like that, but it's not what it looks like, it's what it does. From that radio right there with my car, I can communicate to anybody throughout the entire state of Connecticut. It also has interagency capabilities, along with Homeland Security nowadays. It's a very, very, very good system. When it was put together with Dr. Henry Lee, they claimed that there's 92 or 93% coverage. That's questionable, but it does a wonderful job for us. Back in 1984 is when you got your Bethany 911 aid here. And this is from Mr. Brinton from his archives here. And this is what it looks like now. This is inside the barracks. This is a dispatch area. And here, usually there will only be one trooper there. There'd be one trooper on the left, and there would be a dispatcher on the right. But what they call them is CAD systems. Now, the screen all the way to the left, it's kind of a bluish green. That's our 911 system now. That's what it looks like. And the most recent addition to that now is with the cell phones, that when you call from a cell phone, a map comes up, and it pinpoints exactly where you are now. And that's something really new that's just starting right now, and it's something that we really needed because a lot of times when we get calls here, and again, we service all of New Haven County, we get a lot of 911 calls at the barracks. A lot of times the people are so frantic or whatever, they don't know where they are, unless they're calling from the house and we see where they are. But if they're on a cell phone, we don't know where they are. So this has been a good addition to what we're doing here. Let me go fix that. Oh, that was nice. Huh? That's Trooper Sierenkowski to the left, and that's Trooper Matt Cuomo to the right. This was taken about 6 months ago. Since then, both of those troopers are now injured from department accidents, and they're both off the road. So you see, they're both young guys, how dangerous the job is. This is what they look at when they're looking at the computer screen. All you have to do is touch those with your mouse, and you're on the radio. In the old days, we used to flip channels and things like that inside the car. Now they can just put all those in the white box to your right-hand side there, and then everybody can talk together at the same time. It's like bringing different frequencies into the same thing. So it's a marvel of things they've done. I see the same thing in my car that you're seeing here. Obviously, that's the state of Connecticut. And what you're seeing is all the troopers out of Troop 5 on their patrol. The numbers, like 576, that's David Kiniski, 996, that's Louis Rosa. We all have numbers. My number is 1275. As we're driving with the new cars, the barracks sees exactly where we are and what we're doing. It's a great thing, safety-wise. When a call comes in, as you see right here, here's 1429, right over at the barracks. And if you look really closely by the 8, there's a little green highlighted box there. That's over by pretty close to, I think that's Litchfield Turnpike, by Davidson Corner there. That's where the call is. And as the trooper's en route there, the dispatcher will be able to follow the car going to the call. All right, that's how good the technology is nowadays. You wonder how they do that? It's all from GPS now. My car has a little white box on top of it, and GPS Global Positioner System enables the radio. It's all interconnected, and they can see exactly how fast we're going, where we're going. Yeah, so we really have to be careful. And, the old days, hey Sarge, I didn't do anything. I wasn't going fast. That's going now. They actually have a little thing that can plug in. Like if a trooper has a misfortune to hit a dog or something like that while crossing the road. Well, how fast were you going? You couldn't avoid the dog. Well, they're going to find out how fast you were going because it's going to be in there. So, technology is there, and it's there to protect us, and it's there to protect you. So to make us do our job a little bit better.
Right, you should have that as a ham first, or as a state police first?
I'm sorry?
You have the ADRS with a ham first,
Yeah.
or with the state police first?
Dave, we share a hobby of ham radio. I'm a ham radio operator also, and we've been doing stuff like this for years before the state police ever thought about doing this. But luckily, it cost the state $92 million to do that. It cost us a couple $100 to do it. But our tower here at the troop, you see the microwave antenna in the center there. The little tiny antennas up on the top or on the sides are what the new system, the 800 megahertz system that we have utilizes. And I believe that, Herb, what kind of antenna is that? You know what that is? Low band. Yeah, it's the old low band antenna right there. Unfortunately, for 4248 was our frequency for all these years that we use, and all that stuff is being phased out. And as you see, an antenna like that doesn't have a lot of coverage. So he had a lot of antennas in different spots for him to work. And in the olden days on the radio, you could barely hear us, or you can hear us really loud, and you could tell where we are just by that, but nowadays you can't do that. Back in 1997, everybody remember this here? Quick reactions by everyone kept barracks open. There was actually a thought of closing Troop I back in 1997. That came up with one of our commissioners at the time, Commissioner McGuire, and he thought it would be a good idea to save $200,000 to save the troop. To close the troop, I mean. Now, that came with a lot of hub after he said something like that. Closing the troop here would mean for you guys here, the nearest barracks is in Southbury or in Bridgeport now. So there was a lot to do when that happened. They would have farmed out the different troops for the areas here, but to save $200,000 in the scheme of things, it really wasn't a good idea. And as far as you guys here for public safety, it would have been a lot harder for you here. Here's an old one. Yeah, emergency services, state police, the white vans. You see the big spotlights on there up on the top. We now have helicopters now that have things like that. So it shows you the difference, and I have a few pictures of the helicopter when we move along here. Yeah, we came a long way from the little field office here. We have to last. You got to laugh at that when you look at it, but back then that was state of the art. All right, everybody recognize this person here?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Mr. Howard there. Mr. Howard, Constable in Bethany, Bethany's finest there. You see the light right in the front, just like the car up that we have out here. Patrolling Bethany. Bethany Courts soon after 24 years of service. Anybody remember this going on? Wait. Oh yeah. Couple of you do? Yeah.
George Vale, Ed Inman, Johnny Edmondson, and Dr. Brennan.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Ernie's father.
That's Ernie.
That's Ernie?
Yeah, the Bethany Traffic Court went from 1935 to 1960, is what I'm told. It ended up in 1960, and it was a real experience for me going through some of those records to see what they used to adjudicate here in town. Everything used to happen right here in town. The fines of $3 and $2.50 and all that, where a speeding fine nowadays, if you're going 85 miles an hour, is $279, just for speeding. Yes?
What they used to do in the court, they used to give a fine so it was divided 3 ways.
Absolutely. And the town got some of it, right?
No, town didn't get anything. Ed Inman,
Oh, that's how it was. Well, that's why they changed that. So nowadays, when we write a ticket out in town, none of it all goes to the state general fund. Eventually, it may make its way back here, but it goes right into the general fund, every dollar of it. And this just talks about the photo we just saw prior to that. Anybody remember this gentleman here? Paul Hassler. And Paul Hassler and Gordon Carrington, absolutely. The reason I put a couple photos of Paul in here, Paul was your first resident trooper in town. And he's still been your longest serving resident trooper. He served here in town for 11 years. I was close. I have 9 years, but unfortunately, some of you know I'm leaving next week. So I have a new job that I just acquired. I'm going to be a detective in the computer crime lab up in the forensic laboratory. So, all right, back then, this is what Hassler had to deal with, all right, with the mailboxes. And as the mailboxes and the signs, and as Joey Simpson, I wish I took a photo of yours, we're still dealing with those things nowadays. All right, I'm sure if I had you all raise your hands, I won't have you do it, but I'm sure there's a whole number of you who are victims of this. And we have periodically, since I've been here, we caught a big one last year, when just before he went away to college. Kid. He had a good time hitting about 25 or 30 of them. But along with that, he hit cars, he smashed windshields, and all that. And you wonder why they do these things. And to him, he was leaving, he got a scholarship to a college, and this is his hurrah when he was leaving. But we made it difficult for him to fly back and forth to adjudicate the case, and there's a lot of the people. Not only did we do that, I took him to every house in town that he did it to, and made him apologize to everybody, and gave the people 5 minutes with him too, which. To my knowledge, he actually, a lot of them made him go back to the house and put up the mailbox. All right, so it was quite an experience. This one here, I wish he was here. This is John Paul Garcia's mailbox. And if you look at it closely, right above the 190, somebody was actually going around with a axe doing this. This happened just a couple weeks ago. And the reason I'm showing you this is if it does happen to you, we need you to call us. Don't call me and put it on my voicemail 2 days later. Call, if you hear it happen at 12:30 at night, call. Call that in the middle of the night. We won't come over and bother you if you don't want us to. But what you're doing is you're telling us where it's going on, so that way the boys can go out there and you can catch them. All right, we have a good idea of who was doing this, because the next night we ended up catching a bunch of kids there, and they had one of them had a bat in the car, and it had hair shades of green, blue, white, on it. So, we know it was this kid, and then we find a little area off of Tawny Drive that they had a little party in, and they're all nice, freshly stacked wood there for their fire. So we know they had an axe too. So can't prove it, but since that day, all those areas here really quieted down. All right, but now my understanding is there's something from Beacon Falls doing this again here on the way up and on the way down. So it's a difficult thing to solve. Now here he is retiring, Mr. Hassler and Mr. Carrington. The Mayor Parkway. The reason I put this in here just shows a nice blue state police car there in the back. Back then, anybody remember traveling the Mayor Parkway for the first time? How nice it was way back then. Now everybody avoids it now. By, as far as we're concerned, there's, with the on and off ramps the way they are, we have one guy who takes the patrol every day, and he gets 5 accidents every day. The simple, when the people are looking to the left, they go to get out, but there's a car coming, so they stop, and the person behind them hits them. So that happens every day, still on the Mayor Parkway. Back in the old days, motorcycles were a lot more utilized for patrol. There was a lot more dirt roads, and it was a better equipped vehicle back then. And this would be a traffic detail right here. And you can see how formal everything was, how nicely dressed everybody was back then. Here's a nice clean example of, and we don't see any helmet though, do we? And of course, Bethany had its version of that also. All right. Is that familiar too? That's Constable Howard again.
Wasn't that George Howard?
Yeah, that was George Howard. This ball just show you back in the K9 unit back then. They had to put the dog on the sidecar. All right. This is the start of the state-of-the-art motorcycle here, Harley Davidson. This is one of the ones up at the Troop. Not all of us get to drive this. There's only a few of them nowadays. Trooper Kaninsky drives this one. It's very difficult to be able to drive to school that you got to take to do this. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. The ones who are really special are really good drivers, I can tell you that. All right, here's an old abandoned car. And this was, I got this from Chief Piazza from the Regional Water Authority. I guess back in the olden days, trying to remember, anybody know how many acres that the Regional Water owns in town here?
thousands.
Yeah, I think it's around 3,800 or something like that. This here is an abandoned car. You can see our state police car in the back there. This we don't get this as much anymore. Every once in a while, somebody will abandon a car, and if it's on, here's the big thing, because we get a lot of issues with this. If the car is abandoned on the highway or on the road, we can call out a tow truck, and we can remove it. But if it's on your property, even if it's in the middle of your driveway, or if it's in a business, we can't tow that. All right, we can contact the owner, we can try to, and all those things, but that would be on you to do that if you want to do it. And of course, you guys don't want to do it because it's going to cost you money. So this is a difficult thing that we deal with. It doesn't happen all the time, so it's not too much of a problem. But just a couple of weeks ago, we had an issue like that. All right, this was a big case way back then. This was a Wooding Hill case. I wasn't able to, I was told not to do this. That's why I only had one in here. I couldn't bring back police cases in the effect that it could, who knows? It could be your parents we're talking about here. All right, so this was a case there. This happened on Wooding Hill Road. And I guess these trees were stolen from somebody's property and put in the car. So I guess it was one of the big cases going on in Bethany back a long time ago here. All right, did you know that a helicopter crashed in Bethany? Anybody's Barry Collins here? Barry's in there? Well, she was kind enough to let me know that. I had no idea. But this is a Sikorsky helicopter that had crashed on water company property again in Bethany. All right. I guess it didn't last long because there were some people from the military up here very quickly to make sure that it got out of here very quickly. So that's why probably a lot of you didn't even know about it. This was, I wish I don't have the photograph. This was, late 70s, early 80s. All right, here's our, we've used this a couple of times at Bethany when we had our Citizens Police Academy. But we actually have a bus now, a state police bus. We use this for riot situations when all of us, myself included, we've all had to go to Hartford. When we finish my day, evening shift in Bethany, something's going on up in Hartford. We get the phone call. Here we go to Hartford because there's something going on. I mean, just because I'm assigned to town doesn't mean I can't assist everywhere else. I mean, that's what they do. And this is one of the equipment that we use to get us there. The state police also has, as you saw, if you looked at Waterbury paper yesterday, we have our bomb squad goes up for everybody. This is one of our emergency services vehicles here, and the one on the left. You see the big hammer there. That's we really don't want to use that one, but that's to make a forced entry into a building. We also have boats and everything out there. I believe that they're purchasing a cutter now that's going to be out there because now you have to remember with Homeland Security, we're very close here to New Haven. And in New Haven, there's the harbor there, aviation fuel, lots of things that come into here, and we have to worry about that. Can anybody tell where this picture is?
Airport.
Yeah, the airport, absolutely. And you see, we still do use it as an airport every once in a while. As a matter of fact, I got a phone call on my voicemail today, somebody asked me to land your helicopter there. Says, well, I don't know if I can say it's yes or no, but I know we do it. But when we do it, it's, the airports know about it. And we do periodically, time to time. As a matter of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, we had the helicopter up here, and we had some things going on. I'm going to show you. The helicopter is state of the art. I myself have had the opportunity to fly around in it, around Bethany, and different perspective. It really is a different perspective when you're out there. There's some things on there. If you look to the below there, to the front of it, there's cameras, there's lights. You can see, they can zoom in when they're up really high. You can zoom right in and look at things. There's infrared, So if there's somebody lost in the woods, they can see their heat, what they look like. Very, very good tool. And the reason we have these schools, here's a perfect example. This happened just last month, about a month ago. Police chopper helps rescue an autistic boy from Lake. And you see where this happened? It happened in Bethany. All right, this was just, there was a 14-year-old disabled boy with a group from the school. And they were over at the Lake Chamberlain Reservoir. And now I was there with this. He was totally, he doesn't speak at all. All right, he looks normal, but he doesn't speak, he doesn't communicate at all. And they had an issue with another kid, and it took all the instructors to work with him, with this other one. So now this 14-year-old wandered away. Now, if anybody here familiar with that area, it's a large area there. So the media, when they called us, I immediately called for a helicopter. Because what better way? I called for the helicopter, and I called, obviously, Regional Water for them to meet us down there, and along with Woodbridge, because a part of this is in Woodbridge also. So we all converge on the scene. As I get there, the helicopter's asking me where to go. So luckily, with the technology again, I have a computer in my car, and I pinpoint right to the middle of the lake, and I gave him that coordinate to go to. Because that's the easiest way for the pilots to get there is by GPS coordinate. So as he's flying in, he sees somebody out in the middle of the water, naked. And that turned out to be our boy there. He was fine, all right? But potentially, if we were there a little bit later, it took us a little bit longer, it could have been a big problem for him. All right, so with the staff and everybody there, we were able to rescue him. He was absolutely fine. But even if we were walking next to him, calling his name, he would not have communicated to us because he can't. All right, this is what it looks like when you're up above. That happens to be 28 Putting Green Lane where I live. And it's always a nice thing. OLX over there will see the antenna there, and he'll know what that is. And this is what we're looking for. Now, this wasn't behind my house, but if you look behind me, we have a little bit of marijuana going on. All right. Now, this was found in Bethany. Now, I'm not going to tell you where, but it was found in Bethany. All right. Okay, everybody remember this guy? Terry Nolan. I feel really bad because when I assumed when I came in here, you see the stapler that's on the left-hand side there? I threw that away. You know, and I didn't know. You know, I wouldn't have known it was that old, and it was a big part of history here. And I didn't know. You know, I came in and I had my old black one, and I saw I don't need this old one. But now I feel bad because look, there it is. And I would have had it here right now. We could have looked at it. All right. Here's the motley crew here. There's Mr. Slezak. We all miss him dearly. Yes, we do. I miss him too. He was a good partner. All right, back in 1982 here. I just have a little articles that I found while I was doing this. This is by Barry Collins. It shows weekends torrential rains have left Bethany a mess, and there was over $600,000 worth of damage in Bethany back then, back in 1982. And I'm told by a few people, the reason I threw this in, this is Trooper Chuck Peters awaits the arrival of a tow truck with a car in Hop Brook. All right. Anybody know Chuck Peters? Oh, yeah, okay, that's what it was, yeah. Well, they were okay though, right? Yeah. All right, this is one of the things I'm going to miss when I leave here, is the interaction with the kids. All right, this is a nursery school group off of Village Lane. This was a couple years ago, and it's a lot of fun. Kids looking at you, look at them all looking, having a good time. We also in Bethany, every year for the past several years since I've been here, we've been collecting the toys. Those who work in the town hall know that because I fill up the offices here and we give them to some underprivileged children. And that was we did this at Walmart this past year, and that's what this photo's from. All right, the DARE program. I'm just, happy to say I've taught over 1,000 kids in Bethany the DARE program. And this is what graduation looks like here. This is with my partner Slezak, and these are the 2004 graduates here. This past year. I don't know how I got in there, but all right. Everybody remember this line?
Ellie Downs.
All right. A lot of you would probably like to still have the sign back up there.
A lot of them.
Yeah, because for a lot of reasons, and I guess this caused quite a stir. And who can tell me where this was?
Downs Road.
Downs Road. Okay, Downs Road. Downs and Brooks, down in that area there, we still have cars speeding. We still have people passing, no passing zones. Even it's the lovely area down there. All right, but the nicer the area, it seems like the more people speed. I don't know why. All right, that's it. Okay, I really enjoyed having you. Appreciate being invited here. And make sure you tell Mr. Brenton what a great job I did, all right?
I think Daryll said he was going to leave all this equipment with us so that we could utilize it next time, but good luck in your endeavors and your new job. I know you're looking forward to it. We're going to miss you. Dessert, coffee, punch in the back, and don't forget the chairs in the front and the sign-up list out front. Thanks again to the Russells.